Been waiting for a while for this one. That 4-month delay was just the longest 4 months of my life! Dune 2. Too Dune, too furious. God, I love this film. So this is a week late, sorry about that. I saw this, then went on holiday straight away, so I'm playing a bit of catch up on this one, but I had a brilliant time with this and still wanted to talk about it. Paul Atreides unites with Chani and the Fremen while seeking revenge against the conspirators who destroyed his family. Wow, that's a super short synopsis. Thanks IMDb. Anyway, it's the long anticipated follow-up to Dune, which came out late 2021, and the wait was so worth it. I had a great time with every second of this, even with it being 3 hours long. But in order to stop this being a 10-minute gush fest on how I just enjoyed this film, I think I want to talk about an aspect of the film which made it work so well for me. And no, it's not the visual effects, albeit the visuals are incredible. Any shot from the trailer will tell you so, and the cinematography is just perfect. Every frame is beautifully crafted. You could take a still of any moment and it's just wallpaper material. The design choices help further sell this as well, with awesome areas making the world feel somehow diverse even though it's just a planet of sand. The big shout out from a design perspective is the Harkonnen planet. I loved this. The choice to have the colour scheme within the shallows be colour to then moving out into the sun be it this chromatic black and white shading, incredible. I think I read somewhere that they used infrared cameras to make this effect happen, but it's such a unique visual choice that will just stay with me the most, I reckon. But yeah, moving on from praising the visuals, because I could do that all day, the thing that really sold me on Dune 2 was the character focused story between our two leads, Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides and Zendaya as Chani. It might sound obvious, but the first Dune was incredible, but that felt like a world building film, and it's rightly so. So now having the opportunity to shift onto a more story focused segment felt really refreshing. Dune 1 might have felt like a tighter package, but it's the larger amount of key story beats that we have with the sequel that I think gives it that extra edge, personally that is. I wasn't really sure if they were going to dial into it that much, but I loved how they went all in with the development between our two leads. And again, that might sound stupid, but more times than not, it's an oversight in sci-fi films. Oh, let's make a cool, unique world and worry about the characters afterwards. Cough, cough, Rebel Moon, what? No, here they made sure to give so much of our time on these two, developing their relationship, seeing Paul yearning to become this honest warrior with his personal goals. It makes that changing character, which we see later on in the story, feel that much more impactful. I mean, we have a great cast of people here, who I'll touch on in a second, but it's the personal elements early in the film, where he's growing to understand the ways of the Fremen, his internal battle against his so-called destiny, which in turn brings his conflict against his mother. That was the most interesting part for me. The visuals just serve to enhance that gripping story. I mean, who doesn't love 3 sandworms just charging into battle? And this is where I need to give props to the 3 cast members. Timothée Chalamet is downright incredible. From part 1 to Wonka to this, his career is just skyrocketing, and rightly so. I don't think this movie would have worked without him playing Paul the way he does. And then coupling that is Zendaya as Chani, who shows great on-screen chemistry with Chalamet, and her tease in part 1 pays off really well here. The third shout out for me is then Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica. Was not expecting that was how her character was going to grow, but it was intense, creepy, and served the perfect conflict for Paul. The way she carries this sense of omnipotence yet delusion, it balances so well. Going into what may be a critique and a trade-off for having focused so much on our two main leads is that we had to sacrifice what I think was the potential in our villains from the previous movie. Stellan Skarsgård and Bautista in no way had a bad performance by no means. The Baron as always looked and felt horrifying, but I do think we lost this opportunity to reiterate the gravity of these characters. In order to advance the skills of Paul, we had to make these two characters feel less competent, or maybe less intimidating is the word. And hey, maybe that was the intention, but I enjoyed these two so much in part 1 that I was only hoping to see more of that in here. Instead, we have a new Harkonnen instead, played by Butler, who fills out the role of the main villain. He is also great in this, to be fair. His scene in the Colosseum is just up there with one of my favourite bits. And then there's just this insane bit of choreography with him and Timothée Chalamet towards the end of the film, which I just loved every second of. And lastly, we got to see more of Javier Bardem's character too, which was positive all around. Surprisingly more comic relief in this one too. So those were the ones worth mentioning. Any other main leads didn't really play that huge a role, and they might be utilised down the line instead. So story and characters, big win for me. Slight spoiler territory, but one of my thoughts moving forward is that the character of Paul will have now shifted so much that I think he just becomes unrelatable to the audience. He's this omnipotent, all-seeing man now, and so I wonder if a smart move, which I think is teased to us at the end of the film, is that we shift focus onto Chani journey going into the next one. Who's our more human character now? I'm scared of the lack of tension there will be with a main character who supposedly sees all, and I think that shifting character perspective might humanise the story once again. But look, I haven't actually read the books, so I could be way off here, but it was a fun thought. Finally worth touching on the music and the sound design as well, as this is just one to see in cinemas, not just for the large screen, but also because they make full use of the audio to enhance this strange planet and even the stranger plot we're carried into. Don't really know what much else there is to say. It's an absolute recommendation for me, and I wouldn't really be surprised to see this as a frontrunner for the 2024 Oscars. It's just a no-brainer to see. So, Dune 2, have you already seen it? If so, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this review, feel free to leave a like and subscribe and all that. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews on movies, anime, and video games. Until next time, guys, take care. Bye bye.